Chapter 171, I Have Mental Perception 1. Outside the ring, the audience booed. The internet was filled with curses. Especially in the outer area of the arena, it was almost boiling because of Rankan's act of destroying his severed limb. However, they had to abide by the rules in the arena. Due to the stern protests of Hikai, the referee in charge of the India sector, and Haruji, the teacher in charge, Chief Referee Park Gwangwon stopped the competition. After all, Ku Kingshan had indeed interfered just now. This pause was extremely disadvantageous to Kuishi. Kuishi's broken arm was still bleeding profusely. His face was twisted in pain. But Rankan had gained a precious respite. Judge Ku Kingshan, please give a reasonable explanation for your interference in the competition just now, the chief referee, Park Gwangwon, said. Rankan maliciously destroyed Kuishi's severed limb in order to prevent our students from having irreversible disabilities in the future. I moved Kuishi's severed limb to protect it, Ku Kingshan explained. Ku Kingshan had to answer the chief referee's question in front of the entire Blue Star. What do you mean by malicious? This is the tactic of our students. Hikai, the referee in charge of the India sector, immediately retorted, this is a life or death combat arena. Destroying the enemy's limbs is also a tactical action. However, the defending referee of the Wuxia sector maliciously interfered. This has already violated the rules of the actual combat competition. The chief referee looked at Ku Kingshan, wanting to hear his explanation. However, Ku Kingshan opened his mouth but did not speak. How should he put it? If he were to look at Rankan's deliberate destruction of Kuishi's severed limb from a detached perspective, there was no mistake. Everyone was about to die. One of them had to die. Destroying the enemy's limbs and interfering with the enemy was standard tactical behavior. There was no distinction between noble and despicable. This was also the reason why Ku Kingshan could not explain himself at this moment. However, from Zutua's standpoint, an enemy like Rankan was extremely hateful and despicable. Similarly, from the standpoint of countless students from the Wuxia Genetic Evolution College, Rankan's actions were extremely despicable. This was determined by one's position. The chief referee Park Gwangwon thought for a moment before announcing India's sector protest is valid. Wuxia sector's defending referee, Ku Kingshan, interfered in actual combat and violated the rules. According to the rules of the actual combat competition, the referee on duty can only interfere in the battle if he thinks that the lives of the students are seriously threatened. Whichever side's referee interfered in the battle would mean that the student's life was in danger. It would also mean that the student had been defeated. According to this rule, Kuishi from the Wuxia sector will be defeated in the battle. Because Ku Kingshan, the referee on duty, interfered with the battle, Rankan from the India sector will win. Do either of you have any objections? The chief referee asked after making the final decision. As soon as these words were spoken, the India sector cheered. They had won. Rankan had won. Quixi, the strongest second-year tiger in the Wuxia sector, was judged to be defeated. He would no longer have a chance to go on stage. To be honest, just now, after Kuishi had lost his arm, he was still able to chase after Rankan and make him flee for his life. He was as powerful as a tiger. It was too shocking. The remaining students from the India sector were unwilling to face Kuishi if they had a choice. We have no objections. Haruji and Hikai immediately spoke. The reason why they protested immediately was because they wanted to seize the opportunity to use the rules to judge Kuishi. To be honest, even if Kuishi had lost an arm, it would be very difficult for Rankan to win with the ferocious and crazy momentum he had displayed just now. Otherwise, Rankan would not have been chased around by Kuishi. Ku Kingshan, who was on duty, felt a little aggrieved and helpless. Kuishi still had a chance of winning this battle, but his actions had determined the outcome. We agree with the referee's decision. Hu Nanzhong, the teacher in charge of the Wuxia region, spoke up immediately. Since both sides have no objections, Rankan will win this battle. Please treat the injured and continue to prepare for the competition, the chief referee said. Rankan, who was curled up in the corner, limped towards the resting area. A medical team came forward to treat his injuries. Kui Shi glared at Rank Han with hatred. He hit his alloy staff against the floor and allowed the medical team to deal with his injuries. At this moment, many of the live stream viewers saw that Kui Shi's forehead was covered in sweat. With a broken arm, he could endure the pain and chase after Rank Han. Kui Shi was also a tough guy. Although he lost, he still won a round of applause when he walked down the stage. Before leaving the arena, Kui Shi suddenly stopped and looked at Ku Qingshan, who was on duty. He endured the pain and bowed to Ku Qingshan. "Mr. Ku, thank you." Qingshan, who was on duty, smiled and waved his hand. His eyes were filled with relief. Due to Ku Qingshan's interference, Kui Shi was defeated in this battle. However, Ku Qingshan's actions were not wrong. If Ku Qingshan had not interfered, Kui Shi's arm might have been cut off by Rank Han. With the current medical technology, as long as it did not take long, the severed arm could still be reattached. However, the degree of recovery was hard to say. It would most likely leave Kui Shi with a disability. From the standpoint of the Wuxia Genetic Evolution College and Ku Qingshan's own thoughts, there was only one attitude towards this matter. It was not a big deal to lose a battle. However, the second-year tiger Kui Shi could not be crippled because of this. That was the consensus. Therefore, the teacher in charge, Hu Nanzhong, immediately agreed with the chief referee's judgment. Soon, Kui Shi was sent to the emergency vehicle under the enthusiastic applause of the audience outside the arena. He was quickly transported to the school's emergency center to undergo a limb replantation surgery. In this battle, Kui Shi displayed the aura of the Wuxia Genetic Evolution College. Although he was defeated, he was honored. In the arena, Rank Han from the India sector did not leave the stage. The doctor only dealt with him briefly and injected him with painkillers, hemostatic needles, and stimulants. Rank Han's injuries were mainly internal. One of his ribs was broken, 3 or 4 of his bones were fractured, and many of his muscles were severely bruised. Many of his internal organs had also suffered from the violent impact and bled profusely. He had expended a lot of energy. Although the chief referee had judged that Rank Han had won the battle, Rank Han had also paid a huge price. Haruji immediately fed Rank Han a level E energy restoration elixir and an intravenous injection of level D compound energy elixir. A level D compound energy elixir could recover a person's physical strength in all aspects. The effects were very powerful. Of course, it was also very expensive. Then, Haruji began to assess Rank Han's injuries. "Your performance in this battle was very good. Your tactics were also very correct. But can you still fight? Can you still use Instant Strike?" Haruji asked. "Instant Strike can still be activated and I can still fight. However, the impact is a little big with the broken ribs in my chest. Many attacks will be affected. At most, I can unleash 50% of my previous combat strength." At this point, Rank Han suddenly sneered. "However, teacher, don't worry. Kui Shi has already stepped down. I can use my 3 mutated genetic abilities without any worries. No matter who comes from the other side, I can deal with them with a flash." Rank Han's genetic bone ability, which was derived from yoga in the India sector, actually had 2 attributes. One was the genetic bone blade, and the other was the genetic bone change. The most preliminary genetic bone change could suddenly shorten or lengthen one of his limbs or extend it at an abnormal angle. It was extremely strange. When used in actual combat, it would catch the enemy off guard. It could be said to be a great killing weapon. Kui Shi had suffered a loss just now because of the abilities that Rank Han had used. "Alright, let's rest first. If you need it later, I'll inject you with the stimulant to improve your condition. I will try to buy you as much time as possible to rest and recover," Haruji said. Rank Han nodded and simply lay down on the rest position. He closed his eyes and calmed his mind to quickly recover. The painkillers, hemostatic needles, circulation-stimulating needles, and level D compound energy restoration elixir had already begun to take effect. Rank Han felt that the discomfort in his body was rapidly weakening, and his stamina was also rapidly recovering. However, the broken bones and the intense pain in his internal organs could not be recovered in a short period of time. In the Wuxia sector, the teacher in charge, Hu Nanzhong, gathered the students who were still qualified to participate in the battle. Other than Kui Shi, Kai Hongying, Zhang Changtai, and Miao Huanshan, there were 6 other people. To be honest, Rank Han's performance was very fierce. As expected of a second-year student from New India Genetic Evolution College who was actually a third-year student. He was very powerful. He had severely injured two people from the Wuxia Genetic Evolution College, including the second-year ace, Shi. Although they had been judged by the referee, the results were still there. Moreover, Rank Han was still in the arena and seemed to have the intention to fight again. He would have to be very careful when choosing the candidates for the next battle of the Wuxia Genetic Evolution College. As you can see, Rank Han's 3 mutant genetic ability combination skills are very powerful. Instant Strike coupled with his genetic Bone Blade could allow his limbs to change from short to long or at strange angles. It could be said that he could form a killing move the moment the battle started. However, Rank Han's current state should be very poor. He definitely could not fight for a long time. It could be said that as long as one of you could withstand Rank Han's first wave of combination skills, you would basically win. Which of you has the confidence to fight? Hu Nanzhong asked. No one jumped out immediately. They were all considering the same question. Could they withstand Rank Han's first wave of combination skills? No one spoke for a long time. Mr. Hu, let me try. If I unleash my full strength, I might be able to defeat the injured Rank Han. The person who spoke was Yan Zujin, who was ranked 4th on the Longhu list. She was a female senior, and her entire body exuded a fiery aura. Hearing Yan Zujin's words, Hu Nanzhong shook his head on the spot. You are strong in attack and explosive power. Your ability to survive on the battlefield is not as good as Miao Huanshan. You're a mystery branch fire-type superb individual. Rank Han can almost completely suppress you. If you go up, you'll be sending yourself to death if you're not careful. Yan Zujin was speechless. Mr. Hu, the saber I'm using is also considered a long-range weapon. I can completely imitate Brother Kui's sweep and break Rank Han's first wave of instant strike combination skill, another senior from the extreme branch said. Then how do you determine the direction of his instant strike? Hu Nanzhong asked. This if he breaks in, both sides will suffer. He'll risk being heavily injured to drag Rank Han off the stage, the senior from the extreme branch said. This? Hu Nanzhong did not immediately deny it. What the student said could be considered a countermeasure. It was mainly because Rank Han's instant strike was too ferocious. Mr. Hu, why don't I go? Zhu Tui suddenly asked. You're not as good as Yan Zujin right now. You've also not compatible with Rank Han. If you go up, you might very well be killed by him. Hu Nanzhong immediately rejected Zhu Tui's suggestion. Teacher, I have mental perception. I can sense the direction of Rank Han's attack, Zhu Tui suddenly said. Hu Nanzhong's eyes lit up. Really? How far can you sense? Hu Nanzhong immediately reacted when his question was asked. The distance between Zhu Tui's senses should be considered private. He could not ask Zhu Tui in public. Are you confident? Hu Nanzhong asked. Yes. Zhu Tui nodded heavily.